Are these the best stocks for us to buy tomorrow? Let's use technical analysis and take a look at some names: PLTR, CMI, XPEV, NIO, and ASAN. A few of these are names that were requested by people in the YouTube comments in yesterday's video. So shout out to Hank, Lightcap, Irv, Cap. I'm going to cover those names for you guys. And if anyone else listening wants to check out a few names, I love spreading the enthusiasm. And that's pretty much it. Enthusiasm and interest for charts. I love this stuff. I love talking about it. I'm excited when people get excited about trading technicals. It's what we do at Chart Guys. So I want to spread that interest as much as I can. Let's start with PLTR. In yesterday's video, we talked about the fact that we had a wide range. We were looking for an inside bar. That's what we got today. An inside bar is when the range of today's candlestick, this one here, fits inside the previous day. What it does is it sets up another support and resistance for us. So here's our support, resistance at 1010, support at 923, and it gives us a frame of reference to work towards in future days. So we hang out here, have a couple more days inside this range, and suddenly we break that inside bar with 923. Let's say we have another inside bar day tomorrow, and then another one, maybe even another one. It's unlikely, but what that does is it shows us we're consolidating pretty hard. And as soon as we break one of those key support levels and we stop that tightening range, that's an indication that the price is going to move, usually pretty aggressively, in the direction of the break. So right now we're looking for a break of 1010 or 923. I'm not particularly worried about which direction it goes. I'm not holding this stock. We just look at technicals, try to help you guys out who are planning trades or are currently in trades. So daily time frame 1010, 923. I'm going to go right to the 15-minute time frame because that is what is most interesting for me right now. Here's yesterday's range. Here's the range of our inside bar, early morning high. Couldn't get a 15-minute higher high, so we're technically still in a 15-minute downtrend. And what we can do is start comparing these 15-minute highs and lows to each other, and we get an idea of the overall tightening range. Now, the inside bar here is actually setting up more like, well, it's an inside bar, but it's also a descending triangle. Descending triangle is when you have an overall supporting or resistance line that slopes down like this, and then you get a nice flat support where you have a double or triple bottom. We don't really have that exact pattern now because if this is going to be our trend line, we've already broken it. We're going sideways in after hours without any upside to follow through. So we have a couple of things that we can watch. We're going to be looking for a bear break under 923. This support is 925. This is 923. There's a 2-cent spread on a $10 stock that's close enough for me to consider this to be a double bottom. It's not going to be that precise must-hold dollar value level, but it is a cloud of support that we're going to be paying attention to. If we hold it again, we'll say, yeah, okay, we had support there, we knew it. If we broke it, we know that that former support that's propped us up once and twice is now gone, and that's significant. So going into tomorrow, the key things to watch for are going to be a bull break over 951. That will change the 15-minute trend in the short term. And we'd also want to look for a bear break under 923 for a short position. If we break 923, our only other support in existence is 911. If we break bull, we have resistance at 975, 1010. Over here for after hours levels, 1033. And then way up here, should we get there, pay attention at that time. Right now, I would say we are in a 15-minute downtrend with double bottom support. It really could go either way. Watch for those two levels to break and react to whatever the market gives us. That is what it's all about. Reacting, planning, understanding what is happening in the moment, and being able to capitalize on either a bear break in a short position or position yourself for an entry long with the expectation that the bulls have consolidated and maybe, just maybe, they're looking back up at that $11 number. CMI is the next one we're going to cover for Hank Lightcap. Overall, I've never looked at Cummings before. I like it on the weekly time frame. This is setting up to be a weekly bull flag. So here's this big run up. We got it overbought. We're consolidating pretty well. We're getting lower lows without any follow through. The only thing I don't like is that we have this higher high without any follow through. When we're looking for a bull flag, I like to see this kind of shape where we get our lower lows, but the bulls just defend and push the price back up. Getting higher highs without follow through kind of takes away from the pattern because it is that break of that resistance line that is supposed to signal the phase 3 of a bull flag. Other than this little wick, I really like it on the weekly time frame. I would call this a bull flag. On the daily time frame, this is what I get concerned about. Here's that area of resistance. We managed to break over top of that resistance and didn't get any follow through. Here it is, 251.39. And we definitely have a big cloud that we need to close over in order to get much done. So this changes the story just a little bit. Let's try and get these numbers dialed in. Magnet mode, that's what we would like to see. All right, so I'm drawing on the top of all of these upper wicks to show that building cloud of resistance. So just like we talked about on PLTR, we had that zone of support. Now we got to chew through all of this fat in order to move anywhere on the weekly time frame. So if I'm looking for a long position, I'm going to wait until we are well over that. We can't draw ourselves a daily trend. We tried to change the trend with a higher high. Now what I would be doing is playing this a little bit more cautiously. I'm going to look for a higher low over 199.70, and then I'm going to see if we're going to take another attempt at that 215 range. For a long position, I'm not interested until we get over this big, ugly cloud of resistance. In the short term, 15-minute time frame, bears in complete control. 15-minute lower highs, lower lows. It's going to look a lot more eloquent on the 5-minute time frame where you can see those trends coming down. We got ourselves a 5-minute counter trend, which means we start to look for a 15-minute bear flag. And there it is. So here is our pole. Here is our flag. And we could try to draw that in the same way. In the short term, I would be looking for more downside as we got into 15-minute oversold, consolidating, but still relatively bearish and just looking for a lower high on the hourly. Anything under this level here is just going to be a lower high, and lower lows are likely to follow. So long traders, keep a close eye on that 215 level. Short term, you might get a bounce above that 199.70, but right now it looks bearish on the 5-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame, and the hourly just looking for a lower high. All right, XPEV for Irv, who also wants to look at NIO. Let's start on the weekly time frame. I don't think I've looked at this guy either. Not enough data on the weekly. Whoops. For me to get too jazzed about it. Just indecision on the weekly time frame. Doesn't really tell me much of anything at all, actually. On the daily time frame, the data here is still pretty sparse. We don't really have a trend that's too useful yet. So we just keep poking around until we find something that works for us. And even here, it's relatively indecisive. We're getting our hourly downtrends, we're getting counter trends, hourly downtrends, counter trends, downtrend. You get the idea. Overall, on the 4-hour time frame, lower highs. Well, then we get a higher high here, maybe getting a 4-hour counter trend. I think this is going to be one of those stocks that I'm going to say, you know what, I would just not be touching this guy. And maybe, just maybe, it's going to offer us something useful in the short term. Daily's not useful. 4-hour has a opportunity to change the trend with a higher low over 1737. And I think we're coming up on a critical hourly support level right here. Let's dig into that. 5-minute time frame. So this is not great, is it? All right, so what we do have is a really good, strong base of support. We have tested this area multiple times at 1850. So we had a 1, 2, 3, 4 that acted as support again. So what we can look at is a bottom fish opportunity. If we go to the hourly time frame, this is a pretty aggressive, not an hourly bear flag, but this has got the potential for what we call a descending scallop. A descending scallop is when you have that rapid drop right against an area of support. We start to develop a rounded bottom because bears are exhausted. It's not that the bulls have strength all of a sudden, it's that the bears are just not participating in the market like they were. They've exhausted themselves in these big candlesticks and they need time to recuperate. The people who sold have sold and they're not there anymore. What we need to wait for is for more bears to develop. People who have been buying perhaps here are getting impatient and then drive the price back down. So when we get into a descending scallop situation, we have a big drop. Whoops. We get a big drop. We see the price curl up a bit. And then essentially, I always think of it as water being poured down the side of a bowl. It splashes up and then just dumps back over the edge because there's no more support there, literally, for that price to maintain any sort of upward momentum. These short-term bears who are only gaining strength because of the absence of these short-term bulls who only have strength because of the absence of the bears, as soon as those bears show up again, the price starts to fall. Now, we can look for bottom fish opportunities against 1850. As long as that holds, it's great. I suspect even if we see a nice bounce and continuation more than a scallop, we'll see another opportunity in the 1850 level. I will be watching it for bottom fish opportunities. But beyond that, the XPEV chart's not offering me a heck of a lot. NIO on the daily time frame. Hard to argue a daily uptrend like this. A weekly time frame is overbought, but is not a stranger to being overbought. We're still getting higher highs and higher highs on the RSI as well. I'm looking for big signs of divergence. I'm focusing primarily on this action, which is reflected here. You know, it's very aggressive, it's very overbought, but we have had consolidation on the weekly time frame. 1675 is a nice level. On the daily time frame, we do have some 4-hour support. We also have daily higher lows here. So anything over 1675 is going to be a daily higher low. We could go all the way down to that level, and bulls are still going to be comfortably in charge the daily and the weekly time frame. And that's what consolidation is. And that's what swing trading is. You get the opportunity to buy in at these levels. Let's try to draw in what a little trend might look like. I'm drawing on the bottoms of my red candlesticks because that's how I roll. And you know what? That fits pretty well. Let's go see if we can extend this to the left. I know my directions, right? Oops. Apparently I don't know my directions. Don't look how they changed this. All right, but overall, we're getting most of the data. We can, if you really want to, you can draw a trend. And you know what? It gets everything that I want to see, but I'm focused primarily on this supporting line. And the reason I'm interested in that is because if we come back down, we can hit the support. It will fit our trend. It will fit a daily high or low, and the bulls will still be in charge. So this is the sort of thing that I use when I'm trying to scout for entries. Green candlestick, indecision, indecision. We have an inside bar. If we get a bear break, then I would be looking for a fish opportunity somewhere in the area of that trend line. 15-minute time frame. Well, there is that inside bar range, and I would say that if we lose in the short term, if we lose 50-minute higher lows, we've already lost 5-minute higher lows. If we lose this guy, 2143, then I would be looking for a daily inside bar bear break. Let's go put that level. Let's see if it works out on the 4-hour time frame. If we need to adjust it, yeah. So if we lose, wait a second. Yes, if we lose 2083, inside bar, bear break, I'll be looking for a fish opportunity in the area of 1934 because I'll be looking for a daily higher low. And I would also be looking for this trend to hold. ASN. All right, so this one should also have 2 days of data. It's going to be remarkably different than our PLTR. We don't have an inside bar, but this was a much stronger day without any sell-off. So there is going to be a ton of profit taking. And the reason for that is almost everyone who bought ASAN yesterday is going to be in a profitable position. And on a speculative trade like this that doesn't have any data, a profitable position is a great one to be in. And you can sell, take your winnings, and wait to see what the market is going to do. And that's a massive amount of what successful trading is. It is getting into a good position. It is getting a profit opportunity, setting your stop loss to maintain your profit cushion, taking your exit when you feel confident and happy with your trade, and then waiting to see what develops after that. Every trade should have a trading plan. It should be sound. You should have your entries, your exits. You should know everything that you want to happen. And when it happens and it plays through, and then you just collect your chips and wait for another trade plan. Anyway, I'm getting into a bit of a tangent, which I tend to do a lot. Daily time frame, profitable. Not surprised to see a lot of profit taking. So what we're going to look for now is going to be trend development on short-term time frames to see if we can capitalize on anything in particular. We don't have really a lot of data to use on the daily time frame, but we do have supports. 25.80 is the lowest price ASAN has ever hit. 4-hour time frame, nothing useful here for us. Hourly time frame, very much the same. We are looking for resistance at this point at 27.44. If the bulls can hold things together, maybe we have ourselves a little bit of a 15-minute uptrend here, but even that, not really giving us much at all. 5 minutes, nope, it's a bear trend all the way. Every time we have an opportunity, we see a higher high here over top of this resistance level, but it doesn't hold, and we resume a 5-minute downtrend. So we will just keep chewing away at this, and much like, which stock was it? Don't recall. Much like this stock, was it PLTR? Yes, it was. Okay. I knew it was one of the ones I just looked at. We've got a base of support. In this case, we just have one support touch, but we have these descending levels for 5-minute resistance. And so we're going to be looking for a bull break of 26.41 or a bear break of 25.80, 5-minute time frame. This is the best bet we've got so far. What it means for tomorrow is look for a trend change. If you're looking for a long position, that the bare minimum you want to see a break over 26.41, you want to see development of a 5-minute uptrend, and you just want to be using your stop losses, because we still have a lot of profitable traders out there, a lot of profitable positions. Look at the volume difference between, why can't I zoom in on this guy? Look at the volume difference between yesterday's trades and today's. So we've got, where's our volume? 40 million versus 13 million. In theory, we could go a lot further below 25.80. So if you're looking for a long position, sure, take those 5-minute setups, take those bull breaks, but keep your stop losses very, very tight. That is it for part 1. Thanks for watching, and I will echo yesterday's invitation. If anyone has made it all the way through to the end, you want to have me look at some tickers, just post a comment, ask a question, and I would like to help you learn about charts and technical analysis. So if you have questions about that, I'm happy to answer those questions and comments too. Oh wait, this is a long video. How long are we at already? 15 minutes, not bad. Congratulations if you stuck it out. I appreciate you watching, and let's move on to the next one.